There's the light. And they're off. And to the roar of the crowd, it was a great start, and Silk Ali in the prominent red colours is showing out in advance of his arm as they settle into stride. And beginning when Field Officer just in behind them, Air Seattle and Drum Taps is looking for the early lead, and Marquez was away quickly. And in behind them, Frontier Boys very prominent as they raced in onto the course proper. And they were followed by Air Pompeii, and just in behind them, the Phantom is well positioned. Frere is over on the outside as they come down the straight the first time. Marquez being headed by Frere, a length away, and third posse is the Phantom. Vintage Crop is running fourth on the inside of Drum Taps, a half length further back is Tayako Nick. They're followed by Silk Ali. Young Pirate next over on the inside, being followed by our Tristolite going forward from our Pompeii. They're followed by Slight Chance over on the outside of Field Officer. Tennessee Jack is on the rails, followed by Ultimate Aimer. A length further away, Cavalieri. Close in behind them, Sub-Zero, Air Seattle. And then Great Vintage, followed by Dancing Lord. A length away, Castletown, being followed by Azam. Mercator second last, and Diamond Bases was last of all. Going out of the straight now. And Tayako Nick has taken up the running by a length to Frontier Boy. Close handy. Frere on the inside third. Close in behind them, the Phantom. They're being followed by Marquez. Drum Taps over on the outside. Our Tristolite is racing around them, followed by Vintage Crop on the inside of our Pompeii as they run along the riverside. Further back in the field is Silk Ali, followed by Young Pirate. Half a length away, Slight Chance. Over on the inside, Tennessee Jack. He's followed by Field Officer. In that group then is Sub-Zero. A bit further back is Great Vintage, followed by Ultimate Aimer. A length and a half then Cavalieri, followed by Dancing Lord. Well back in the field is Azam over on the inside, being followed by Air Seattle, who's also well back with Mercator, who's third last with Castletown. And Diamond Bases is last of all. 1,600 metres out in the cup, and Tayako Nika leading a half length to Frontier Boy. A length and a half, Frere in the box seat, half a length away the Phantom. Close up behind them, Marquez. They're followed next by Drum Taps. A length then, two over on the inside, Silk Ali. He's followed then by Vintage Crop and our Tristolite. Tennessee Jack is in behind them. They're followed closely then by our Pompeii. Half a length further back, going forward in behind them is Sub-Zero. And they were followed closely then by Young Pirate, who's up on the outside, further back in the field. At the head of the rest of them, Great Vintage is a fair way back in the field. Ultimate Aim as they race down the side towards the 1,000 metre mark, and Tayako Nick the leader by a length. The Frontier Boy 2.5 lengths further back, the Phantom on the outside of Frere. Drum Taps improving. Then Marquez there, followed by our Tristolite. Vintage Crop is making ground. Silk Ali followed by our Pompeii, starting to run on from Tennessee Jack over on the inside. Field Officer is back behind them as they come up in the direction of the home turner, and they're followed by Dancing Lord. Great Vintage is a fair way back, so is Ultimate Aim. Round the turn they race in the Melbourne Cup. 600 metres left to go, and Frontier Boy is ranged up on the outside to tackle Tayako Nika, and they straighten up. Frontier Boy, Tayako Nika finding it out. They're out by 2.5 lengths to Frere, followed by the Phantom, who's down the outside, and Marquez is battling on pretty well. Vintage Crop is back behind them, followed by our Pompeii, who's a long way back. Tayako Nika is being tackled by Frontier Boy, and they're well clear of Marquez, and then Vintage Crop down the outside. Tayako Nika is the leader with 200 to go. It's a length and a half clear. Look at Vintage Crop. Vintage Crop coming down the outside is after Tayako Nika in the final stages. The English horse Vintage Crop hit the front. Vintage Crop will win the Melbourne Cup. Vintage Crop is first. Tayako Nika is second, I think, just ahead of Mercator. Tight for second and third, Tayako Nika and Mercator. And the fourth to finish was Great Vintage, followed by Frontier Boy. Back behind them is Cavalieri, and back behind them then came Drum Taps, followed next home by Tennessee Jack, then Sub-Zero, followed by Frere, and the next to finish is Field Officer. Our Pompeii is a long way back, Dancing Lord, Air Seattle, and back behind them is the Phantom, who failed to stay. He was followed by Azam and Young Pirate, Ultimate Aim, Slight Chance, Castletown, and one of the tail enders, Silk Ali, and well back, the absolute tail ender, I'd say, is Diamond Bases.